don't have to be everywhere.
No.
There's so many things that you can show up on that can be lower priority and still help you market your business. Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips. Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 196, and today we're going to take you behind the scenes to share exactly how we do marketing here at Duo Collective. Because even though we teach SEO and branding, we also have to live it.
Yes.
So we decided to pull back the curtain a little bit, show you what it looks like and how our small team helps us, how we do it, juggling everything in our lives and just kind of running the business. And I will say too, it's always evolving. So some things are starting to feel really consistent and good for us, and other things we're still trying to figure out. So
yeah, we definitely don't have it figured out.
no,
nobody does. But we've had a lot of people be like, how do you do it all? Like, you girls are doing it all, and like you look like you're doing it so flawlessly and
Yeah, it's not
effortlessly
flawless.
and graceful.
No.
And it's far from any of that. So
Yeah. So, but I do think that there's always appetite to see like what is someone else's workflow?
Oh,
What is someone
absolutely.
else's system?
I want to know a ton of people's workflows
Yeah,
and systems.
like I want to know the behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
we want to take you behind the scenes, but also know that it's not like this perfectly polished thing. It's taken years to get here, and we're actually going to break down who helps us make this happen because we have a lot of help.
Right.
So,
and we also don't keep secrets. Like, we are not gatekeepers. So like we literally tell you everything we do, how we do it.
Yeah.
And if we're good at it or not.
And this works for us doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about our workflow and what is consistent each week or month. And so it kind of starts right here with the podcast. Our podcast drops every Monday. That's consistent. It is something that we have said out loud and then we stick to.
And I feel like we haven't missed a lot.
No.
There have been some times where we're like, no podcast because like we didn't batch out far enough and like
or it's a holiday
was life in or it was a holiday, or sometimes we do bonus episodes. But this has probably been the one marketing tool that we've been pretty solid about since we've started.
Yeah. And so this is essentially our long form content is the podcast episode. And then we repurpose this into a blog post, a YouTube video, a YouTube short, an Instagram carousel, and just share it on Instagram stories if we remember. And then eventually it translates to a pin on Pinterest. So it turns into a lot of things, this one piece of content. But we have a lot of help on the back end. So we have a blog writer who helps us write the SEO optimized blog, all based on the show notes of what we're talking about here. So if you've ever listened to this episode and then gone back to the blog post, you might notice that the blog post has more sometimes than what we just talked about, or sometimes it doesn't include everything we talked about because they're two different audiences.
Yep.
So the blog post is written for people who are searching for this type of content, like a marketing workflow, for example, or an example of a small business workflow for marketing, something like that. Like that could be the keyword or the thing that people are searching for. So that's who the blog is originally written for, while also giving you the exact things and nuggets and examples and links and whatever else you need from the episode. So it's kind of two different audiences when we write it and think about it. So our blog writer is doing that. We have a video editor. This is new. We have been recording with video for a long time. For a long time. So we have a lot of content we could go back and update. But we've been recording for a long time and finally realized this is never going to happen unless we bring someone in. So we've outsourced someone to help us with that. And then she's also doing the YouTube shorts. And it has been beautiful so far.
Check it out.
And then our podcast editor, thank you, hubby. He is editing all of our audio. So Court and I get together, batch, record, and we're done.
And if
So,
we say something really stupid, then we just say, hey, Glenn, take this out. Thank you.
but we do have to tell him because he does not listen to the entirety of the episode. So if you ever hear anything where you're like, wow, girls, that really shouldn't have been in there, it's because we forgot to tell him.
Yeah. Whoops.
It's a little bit of like you get what you pay for
I
kind of
also feel
situation.
like we don't say a lot of things that we're like, oh, shoot.
No,
Erase.
we don't have to cut a lot, but I think there was an episode a while back where someone was like, "Hey, I don't think that was supposed to be in there." And I was like,
Oh, geez.
"Thank you for telling me." And then he fixed it. But it's definitely there's been some misses. So
Wait, I
just
don't think
know.
you told me about that. Was it something I
It was a
said?
while
You
ago.
said? Oh, okay.
No, I don't know what it was. I'd have to go back and look. A blooper. We've been saying we're going to share bloopers
Oh my
forever.
gosh, they would be hilarious.
Oh, and then the final thing that helps us with this, and this is the biggest chunk because this is our long form content that then gets repurposed everywhere. So the final person that helps us is our marketing manager, Heidi, also our project manager. So she is helping us post this content on Instagram and also making sure the ManyChat is set up so that you can easily get the link in the comment. And then she's also helping us keep Pinterest full. So,
Lots of things.
again,
but lots of hands.
yes. And it always start at the top. What's your long form content going to be? And then how are you going to repurpose that from there? So that's why we kind of started here because this podcast is our long form.
And it can be repurposed in so many different ways.
Yeah.
The next one is emails delivered every Tuesday, mainly every Tuesday. And Sunday, mainly every Sunday. But again, these are days that we try to aim for to keep ourselves accountable and to get to it every week and send it out every week. So right now, if you're on our newsletter, you get the Tuesdays tips and sips, which is gonna soon be changing. Just thanks to some insights and some stuff that we found out from our audience and just some things that we kind of want to switch up a little bit. You're still going to be hearing from
It's
us
half of, is
weekly.
it could be half of me where I was like, Court, I'm bored of it. Let's do something else.
But also, like when you said you were bored of it, I was like, I'm kind of glad you said it out loud because I was kind of thinking it, but I never wanted to say it, and so
I just think it's fun to mix things up.
I
Every
do
once
too.
in a while.
I do too. A little refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Sunday's SEO Squeeze if you are on that list, and this is reshared on Substack as well. And then this is all Abby and I. We do the emails weekly. Our marketing manager helps archive the squeeze on Substack, but other than that, it's always Abby and I in the emails writing them. I'm never gonna write your squeeze, your SEO squeeze. You don't want me to.
Ooh, I'm assigning you one when I'm on mat leave.
Oh geez. And then everybody's gonna unsubscribe. They're gonna be
I'm
like,
so
"What is this crap?"
excited.
Or it's gonna be like the most basic SEO thing, and everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, we know." I'll be
Or
like,
you'll shock everyone with your branding
right.
SEO knowledge.
What if I
Come
did?
on.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go. I'm gonna lean on that. So this is something that we're not like as consistent as podcasts, I would say, about how we're currently like resharing the content here. But it's something that we want to get better at. And we're also considering adding in some sort of a fun branding email sequence that people can opt into. We have a lot of email ideas coming out of our annual planning meeting that we had this year. So we're very excited about the ideas that we have for them. We're very excited about restructuring and switching up tips and sips. We think it's going to be better for you. And but this is something that we do weekly and we love it. This is, we love the podcast and I think we love our email list because those are two big audiences that we are constantly hearing positive feedback from, or people are asking us for new ideas to talk about things. So these are really where we pour a lot of our energy as far as probably our top two marketing things.
And I think we'll probably do a post soon about how we're kind of adapting email. But as our list grows, I think it's becoming more and more important for us to segment better. So I think that's something that you're going to see soon of like, how can we better segment our emails and make sure that people who just want SEO or just want branding, like are able to get that unique content.
Yeah.
And without feeling inundated with a bunch of emails.
We know that your inbox is sacred and we
Yes.
want to make sure that we are not just taking advantage of your inbox.
But I will say from a marketing standpoint, email consistency on the days or the type of content we're sharing, like Tuesday tips and sips, Sunday SEO squeeze, like that has been very helpful for us in allowing us to stay consistent.
Yes.
So I think choosing a day and choosing a theme or a name or something for that newsletter is going to help you stay consistent.
Yes, exactly.
So next up, social media, which honestly is basically just Instagram for us.
Yes.
That's like our main social platform. I would like to pretend I'm not a millennial and I can really get into TikTok, but I can't. I'm sorry.
No. Mm-mm.
So our goal is to post 3 times per week at least on Instagram. We use a Notion tracker to build everything out. We bought this from Kat Wash.
Yes,
She
and
is
it's
amazing.
lovely.
We love this content planner, so we'll link it in the show notes so that you can buy it for yourself if you love it too. Plus, Kat is amazing, and we did her brand recently. So if you
Yes.
love her website and her brand, that's your girl Court. Um, and then we do schedule monthly or bi-monthly. Honestly, sometimes it's quarterly, but we plan content planning meetings where it's usually Court and I, and then Heidi, who's our marketing manager. So she's the one that's helping us create the post, draft the copy, and publish the content. All three of us are engaging, so we're all always engaging. Court and I are typically the only ones to show up in stories unless we're actually with our team for some reason, since everyone's really spread out. But this is definitely something where we lead the strategy behind what's getting shared, but we have help in the
Hmm.
execution. And we knew we needed that. We've always loved doing the strategy, but the execution is where things fall flat.
Hmm. So the next one, I would beg to differ. This is like a social platform, but also a search engine, is Pinterest. So this is like some of the easiest content for us to batch. We're always taking repurposed content, and knowing that nothing is ever unique for this platform makes it really easy to take any content that we've ever created and turn it into a pin. Here we also have help from Heidi, our marketing manager. She helps set this up in, I think we're still using
Tailwind. Hmm.
Tailwind for this. So we had it set up in the past, and then, it wasn't a priority for a while. But now that we have her, she's able to help us fill all of that in, get all of that scheduled, and have all of that Pinterest content in there within Tailwind. So it's a really slick tool for Pinterest if you haven't checked it out. It's also, you can also use it for Instagram and stuff like that too, but we mainly just use it for Pinterest. And I'm the one that's typically building out the pins based on what that content is, or any other designer on our team if we have some templates built out for them. Um, we can batch this content within Tailwind, schedule it out for 2 to 4 weeks ahead, and yeah, we just kind of restarted this
Hmm.
again. It was something that we were
Yeah.
doing really well for a while. We've even hired some people in the past, and Pinterest just wasn't working for us for a while. But I think we just needed to kind of get into our own groove of what we wanted to pin, how often we wanted to pin. Now
Hmm.
that we have the marketing manager, that helps us so much more.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be doing some of those executional things.
Yeah. And then when it comes to blogging, so we do sprinkle in extra blogs when we can. And we do have a blog writer, and Eden is amazing and incredible. And so she has a ton of drafts that are ready for me that I need, that honestly are like half my fault. I need to actually sit there and push publish. And I like occasionally I'll just be like, you have full authority. Like
Just
just
do
go,
what you want.
because there's only so much time in the day. But obviously blogging is my baby because SEO is what I do. So we are really evaluating the stuff like a lot
Mhm.
because it is really important, since that's something that we preach, and I don't want to look like a hypocrite over here. So but we do sprinkle in extra blogs when we can, and we have so much content that we're constantly refreshing old
Mhm.
content, which is a heck of a lot easier than creating new. So, right now, our podcast is supporting our blogging consistency. So, a new blog is posted every week because it's based on the podcast. So, it's something that feels really easy. We're blogging once a week. Great. But I think a lot of times we're like, no, that's not a blog, it's a podcast. And it's like, no, it's a blog.
It's also a blog.
It can be a blog. You have to put a little bit more work into it,
Mhm.
but it can be a blog. So the podcast is that long form content that helps us be consistent here.
Yeah. So those are kind of the things that we've been doing the past year, 2-ish years maybe. I would say solidly this 2025. Those are the things we've been leaning on. But things that we've talked about that we want to start leaning on into 2026. One of those being paid social ads for some of our free content. So we've done paid social ads for like
Launches.
launches
Yeah.
and webinars and stuff like that, but we haven't done any of that for any of our like freebies or anything. So that's something that we want to test out in
And
2026.
usually, I'd say like usually we do it for our freebies, but in preparation of launch.
Right.
So it's always like for launch
It's for
windows.
something, it's not
And
just.
for us, free resources, free webinars have always performed really well. So
Mhm.
it's like really good. And we've seen that. And so we actually did, this was like really fun to do during our annual planning, was
Yeah.
actually breaking down, okay, how many subscribers did we get? What was the cost per subscriber? And was this worth it for
Yeah.
us? And it
And
absolutely
we
was.
actually like never sat down and looked at those numbers immediately after, which we probably should have.
Yeah.
But looking at it at our annual planning meeting this year, it was wild to see some of the stuff and very insightful,
Hmm.
obviously. And like we'll plan better next year. But it was really crazy to kind of just like look back at those numbers and see what performed well and
Yeah.
like what we can do better next time.
Yeah, and it's been something that really resonates too. Like, not only do we get those subscribers, but they stick around.
Yeah.
And so I think if we were getting those subscribers and then they weren't resonating and liking our content, then we're doing something wrong.
Hmm.
But this stuff is absolutely resonating. And so because of that, we want to be more consistent in setting like a quarterly budget, making sure that the free resource or whatever it is that we're sharing during that quarter makes sense to whatever we're working on. So just kind of creating more consistency to this rather than like honestly, in the past, it's just been a scramble. We
Mm-hmm.
need to run it launch ads like tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to build them the night before.
I mean,
And
and
yeah.
half the time I'm creating them
I know.
because
I think one
I'm
time I was like, "Wait, Abby, did you have Dana do these or something?" And she was just like, "I did them." And I was like, "Oh boy."
because I'm not gonna like it. Like I will not do that. I will not ask any of our designers to be
Mm.
like, I have this wild hair idea. Can you create something for me in 12 hours? They'll hate me. Like, no. So I'm like, I'll just do it.
The
So
beauty of
dumb.
Canva.
The beauty of Canva, yeah. It's a good see, I'm building off of templates that have already been created though.
Yes, she has.
So
She is. Yes, being efficient.
I have a solid base.
Hmm.
So
You do.
another thing that we do is have these like consistent launch windows, and then we do webinars. So these are a form of marketing. Honestly, this is how we market our course or market like big opportunities that we have. One of the things that we have done before, and this has kind of been like a slow season thing that we've always done last minute, is to do paid webinars.
Hmm.
So I think during right before Q4 last year, we did a quick little paid webinar to like create your Q4 content. And it was really successful and people loved it. And it
Hmm.
was like a really easy way to like show up, make a little bit of money, and everyone got some amazing content for a very little spend.
Hmm.
But we were able to maximize our time by making it like a group effort. So paid webinars, love it. We are not consistent at it, but I
Mm-mm.
think it's a great marketing strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing is guest podcasts and outreach. So a couple of years ago, I feel like we were really good at guest podcasts, and this year we kind of didn't do as good as we have in the past. I don't know why. Can't
I
really.
honestly, I feel like it's because we're trying to figure out the studio setup.
Yeah,
We're trying to figure out, like, honestly, we are almost 200 episodes in,
and we're
people,
still
and
trying
we're
to figure
still
out.
figuring it out. Like, I feel like audio, like, we are finally at a point where I'm like, I feel good about
Hmm.
this setup.
Hmm.
And so I think it's probably a little imposter syndrome of like,
Yeah.
we're not, oh, like, the best we can
I
possibly
think
be at.
some of
I don't
it
know.
too is that like Abby and I are always like, well, we're the duo. We have to be together all the time. But that's not necessarily true. Like we can do guest
Yeah.
podcasts solo. Like I
There's
can do a
so
branding one.
many
She can
other
do an SEO
people.
one.
Yeah.
We can have a guest come on and talk about social or talk about, LinkedIn
Yeah.
marketing or whatever. And it doesn't need to be all three of us on the
Hmm.
podcast. We can divide and conquer when it comes to these things. So I think it's like getting over that
Yeah.
too. Like, hey, you
I
do
think
this
we
one, I
did.
do
We
this
did
one.
officially decide that, didn't
We
we?
did,
Like just recently.
like just last week, honestly. And so I think doing that is going to help us to like lean into more guests and outreach next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's been, otherwise, it was like us sitting down together and being like, what day are we going to do the podcast recording for guests?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was just really hard to fit it in our calendar. And it's a whole lot easier if it's just like me figuring it with one person, you figuring it
Yep.
with one
Yep.
person.
Hmm.
So that
So
helps.
stay tuned for more guests.
Yeah. Another is we kind of want to dabble in PR a little
Mhm,
bit.
yes.
So I would say this is like an SEO opportunity as well with backlinks. So just kind of finding opportunities within our local community where we can just be, whether it's like being featured or working with the press or just like finding ways to show up within our
Mhm.
community and get a little bit of that extra press. So
And we think that we're pretty cool people, so we think people would like to talk to us.
as long as they don't listen to that. Uh,
This could be this could be like end of the day kicking in like, "Oh gosh, where's
goodness.
my coffee?"
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, that is something that we definitely want to tap into. Again, no consistency there, but just something that's been on our brain.
mhm,
And then I would say too, so I'm gonna jump in on this next one.
'cause you love them.
I know. So we have been wanting to do this for a long time is like we have had quizzes in the past and
Mhm,
we love using Interact. Interact is like our number one tool for this. And they have amazing resources to like integrate AI quizzes to make it super easy. And I think the problem has been like, how can we create what's the best quiz to create? And we finally have that quiz idea.
mhm, mhm,
So we'll share more about that later. But we finally have that quiz idea and it's like, this is perfect. Now we just need the time to build it out, which
mhm.
again, because of their AI tools, it's going to be a whole lot easier
Yes.
than it would be using something else.
Mhm.
But I do think quizzes are something that it's kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing
It is, yeah,
if you have it set up really well.
and yeah, they can work really, really well for you.
Yes. So very excited about that.
And then the last one is community and mentorship. So we've always loved being a part of our community, but I think year after year we always feel like we could do a little bit better. So I think it's just looking at our calendars, making sure that we're setting aside time for these things versus getting in the day to day in the weeds of everything. And kind of forgetting about it. It's lovely that Abby's husband now has a space where we can get together at Brewhaven. So we've had multiple community get-togethers there. So we'll probably tap into that more next year as well. But that's something that we really want to lean into a little
Yeah.
bit more. Being a
Yeah. I
part,
think one
showing up,
thing,
giving back.
yeah, I think one thing that we haven't figured out exactly like how we want to do it is actually investing in a mentorship for ourselves too,
Yes,
which
yes.
I think is an insane marketing opportunity, like
Hmm.
actually investing in something like that because of the connections you make
Yes. Yep.
and the growth that you can experience. So I think that's something that everyone should absolutely look into. But I think the most important part about it is making sure that you join a program that isn't just like one that's big that you've heard about on Instagram,
Right.
but one that truly is going to help you in your
That
business and your
fits.
stage.
It's a fit for you.
Yeah.
It's not like a popular
Yeah. So
thing.
I'm not, hopefully, we have more to share on this later because this is something that's been kind of hard for us as we've shifted into the agency. Is like,
There's not a lot. We're not finding a lot of like mentorship
yeah,
or
our
communities.
current community is a lot of entrepreneurs and
Yes.
solopreneurs. So in
Yes.
turn, which like we love, like
Yeah.
that's our clients, that's our audience,
Absolutely.
that's everything. Like we love that. But when it comes to mentorship, like the
Who?
we're ooh, if you know someone, please tell us because
Yes.
clearly we're struggling.
Yes.
But we are trying to tap into some resources to kind of
Mhm.
figure out like where do we need to go next.
That
And I
that right
think
mentorship coach is like listening right now, and
yes,
they're like, "It's
reach
me."
out, reach out, please. I'm putting it out into the universe,
I'm
Court.
gonna manifest it,
We talked about getting real woo woo. I'm not woo woo, but
and I am a woo woo.
Court is. So we talked about having like a fun like, who are you more like, Court or me?
A
Um,
podcast episode, yeah.
maybe in the
The
future.
woo woo showdown.
Yeah. There's a couple other things that I would say are like good marketing strategies for you if you like to do them, but we don't prioritize them. One TikTok. I'm just I don't know. Maybe I'll
I
change
can't.
my mind one day, but I just am not
I
into it.
don't think if you've changed your mind yet, you probably won't.
Yeah. I think okay, so Reddit has been something that is like
Okay,
beyond I'm
honestly,
interested in.
when you brought that up the other day, I was kind of like, I kind of like that.
I know. So, more to come on this, but I think Reddit is a very interesting marketing opportunity
Mhm.
for small businesses
Mhm.
and really overlooked. LinkedIn is another thing that we really hope to dabble in 2026.
Mhm.
And I would say affiliate marketing has been one of those things where it's nice to have, but we don't depend on it.
We don't depend on it, and we don't. Yeah, we just don't put a lot into
Yeah.
it. Like it's
I
out
think,
there. We don't push it.
yeah. I think, like, I obviously, we talked about too, like, we love Tailwind, we love Tella, we love
Tonic.
yeah, we
Yeah.
like Tonic. Like, there's so many things we love, and we will share them with you because we love them.
Mhm.
But we are, and then it's a perk when it's like, you made $5 this
Yeah.
month.
We're kinda like,
Like,
"Oh,
woo, that's
woo."
awesome. It's a perk when you make money off of it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it is not something that is a like massive driver for
It's not a
us.
marketing
So yeah,
tactic
we're just
really
going to
for
share
us.
what we love.
Yeah.
And who knows, that might change. And affiliates sometimes are people's entire business
Yeah.
model.
100%. Yeah.
So
It's just not ours.
yeah, it just isn't for us. So
Mhm.
um but breaking all of this down, like, why did we make these decisions?
Mhm.
Because I think you can listen to all of this and be like, okay, great. Okay, so now what should I do? I should start a podcast, and
Right.
then I should
Do an email
post it.
and
Yeah,
then
and then I should do an email and whatever. So I think, yes, you can. If you like it, go ahead, try it. But one of the reasons as to why we did this was because of the data. So it wasn't just because we felt like it, even though sometimes it is. Like, it's
Mhm.
okay. But at the end of the day, our goal is to like connect with our audience, make marketing fun, and make sure that it's actually working, because
Mhm.
it's not really fun if it's not doing anything for
Right.
you.
Right.
So the data told us a number of different things. One was that our audience's favorite way to engage with us is our email and our podcast.
Which is great because those are the top 2 things that we prioritize
Top two
and the
priorities.
2 that we love the most.
So people, in where we're pulling this data is we sent out an audience survey a month-ish ago,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And we had a ton of open-ended questions. So actually getting people's words of what they liked, what they didn't like, all of that. And there were a lot of mentions of tips and sips, SEO squeeze, duo on air. And the cool thing is all of those are mini brands of ourselves.
Mhm.
So because of that, like, people know what these brands are. And I
Mhm.
think that's also really important and cool.
Yeah.
So and then people also mentioned a little bit about social media, but what was really interesting was that anytime someone mentioned social, they mentioned Instagram, not surprising, but they used it as a way to stay connected, and they already knew us.
Mhm.
So it's not a huge driver of new audiences for us. It's more of a
Mhm.
nurturing
Like, here's what
platform.
we're up to, here's what we're doing.
Yes.
Here's some things you might have missed. Here's a
Yeah.
few educational pieces, but it's not like, "Hey, buy this thing from us," or "Here's this service A, B, and C. Like, which one
Yeah.
do you want?" It's more like,
Which I think is so, I mean, obviously paid ads are going to be new
yes.
audiences,
Yep.
but when it comes to people following us on Instagram, we're not focused on follower count.
No.
Like, we are focused on nurturing our existing audience and giving
Mhm.
them what they want.
Mhm.
And so engagement is going to be a much better metric for
Which
us to track.
honestly is so much nicer on
Yeah.
Instagram, I feel like,
Hmm.
because you don't have to really play the game then. You
Yeah.
kind of
I don't want
just
to play that game.
show up however you want.
Yeah. Get out of here.
And then when asked what they love the most, people consistently mentioned these few things. So one of them was storytelling, which I feel like Abby and I are pretty good storytellers, if I do say so myself. Give yourself a little pat on the back, girl. I think I've learned my storytelling from Abby, but
Practice, 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 practice.
yes.
Honestly, I feel like the more you write emails and tell stories, the easier it gets.
It does. It does. And the more fun it gets.
Hmm.
It actually is like really fun to write these emails because the storytelling piece of it is a fun thing to weave in.
Yeah.
They mentioned that things are actionable, they have educational content, which is always something that we've strived to do. Things like our resources are also beyond just like giving them actions in an email or a podcast. We have all of these free resources for people to dabble in as well. If you were one of the ones that said we have too much content, then just take what
You're
you want
right.
and
Yeah,
leave.
take what you want. Go for
um, and
it.
then the realness, the way that we blend expertise with authenticity, which is such a huge thing that we hang our hat on too, is because we know at the end of the day, authentic brands are going to win. Like, they're going to win over anything else. People want authenticity these days. They want to see that there's a real human behind this expertise, behind this business, behind this brand, because then they can connect with you better and on a human level versus just you being salesy or constantly pushing your products or whatever it might be. They want to see you behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So what this means is brand personality is your marketing differentiator. Like your brand personality is what makes you different, and nobody else can own that but you, because it is your brand and it's your personality and you're living and breathing it. So it is so important to make sure that you know what your brand personality is, because that is again going to help you market differently and stand out amongst your competitors.
Yeah. So another thing that we found out is that people want to know where to start in our ecosystem. And I think this is something that it's a natural progression of your business over time. Like the more
Mhm.
content you create, the more things you have, it it could feel overwhelming and it's like
Mhm.
where the heck do I start?
And I think we never really thought of that because we're just in it, you
Yeah.
know?
I think I'm just
And
like, hey, just search in our blog. But
yeah,
I also understand there's
there's a
hundreds
lot.
of blog posts
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now almost 200 podcast episodes, and it's a lot of information. So
Mhm.
the words people used were like, there's so much to do, I don't know where to start, I'm not sure what's most important, it all feels like too much. And these are the opposite of how we want people to feel when they enter our universe. So this is kind of when I was talking a little bit about the quiz earlier, this is that huge opportunity to create content that's going to simplify and organize this for you. So we're going to lean into a quiz to help us solve that, to help you determine what you need to listen to, what part of our universe makes sense for you. Maybe if there's a service that you need to tap into or save up for, that you know what that is, like helping you just kind of identify where you stand in here. So I think it's important, like, it's important to niche. Yes. We don't want, like, but I also think there's an importance to understanding and meeting people where they are. So
Mhm.
it's not that we want to be like, oh, I'm sorry, we're not for you. Like,
Mhm.
just go away. Because I think the people that are responding to this, they are for us.
Right.
They just,
Don't know
they're just overwhelmed.
where and
Yeah.
when and how.
So I think this is something that we were really excited to tap into and almost like take that and now bring that into a marketing opportunity of like, here's where you stand in our ecosystem. Here's
Mhm.
the next 3 podcast episodes you should listen to. Here's the resource you need right now,
Mhm.
and help them avoid all of the extra noise out there.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
so basically, the data overall is telling us to worry about clarity over complexity.
Mhm.
So this kind of guided experience, it doesn't mean we need to like go out and minimize the amount of content we have.
No.
Like, very proud of that content. I don't want it
Just
to
kind of
go
like
anywhere.
start here,
Yeah.
or this is
Yeah,
what you need.
start here. So clarity. We need to talk about like depth and not focusing just on reach.
Mhm.
So when it comes to our audience, we're going to focus on nurturing them. We're not always going to think about growth and new. So if you go back and look at like everything we just talked about in our workflow with podcasting and emails and social media and Instagram, we are nurturing the audience that's already there. That is our main goal. The only thing in like our entire marketing ecosystem that we are focused on new is our paid social ads.
Yeah. Really,
Like,
that's it.
it is great if our other content brings in new people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Awesome. That's going to be organic. But the paid social is truly the only thing where it's like, let's bring in
Mhm.
the new people that might
Otherwise,
resonate.
we're just nurturing.
Yeah. But otherwise, we're nurturing. And that's actually a really good mentality. Like,
Mhm. It actually feels good too.
it
It
does.
feels less like we're constantly chasing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. And then we're going to focus on consistency rather than volume. Like I said, we already had a ton of content. So
Mhm.
it's not about pumping out more and more and more. It's about being consistent and sticking with what we want to do. So,
And quality.
yeah.
Like quality, it's like consistency over volume, quality
hmm
over
Yeah.
quantity. They kind of go hand in hand there.
And when it comes to that too, like the consistency is going to help bring depth. Like a great thing
Yes.
that we want to do for our podcast is eventually add another episode each week. Like that would be awesome.
Mhm.
So there's things like that where we want to build on what's already working rather than be like, okay, let's start another podcast.
Right.
Like,
Right. Exactly.
no. And then at the end of the day, we want to focus on connection rather than focusing on perfection. Court.
Even though sometimes that's really hard.
So like Instagram, for example, we're just trying to be more real. We're trying to share more behind the scenes. We're trying to just
Trying to
not
break the grid a little bit, even though
sell
it
it
hurts
all.
my design brain.
Yeah, I know. So Courtney has let go of more and more from a visual
I
standpoint,
have.
which is good.
Yes.
Because again, like
So
connection
please,
doesn't have to be perfect.
please tell me you still love our Instagram.
They do. They do.
Okay, so what's next for you then? Here are a few things. If you don't have any data, you need to get some. Quiz your audience. Like that's a really good, easy place to start is quizzing your audience. And you can even quiz your audience. Like you don't need to like build a quiz. You can just do a survey, a Google survey.
This is
what
where we
do.
got all our data.
Yeah.
We do one every year.
Every year, and sometimes multiple. It is super easy. If you have no idea where to start and like what questions to ask, go to ChatGPT. Chad will give you some ideas and you can finesse them from there and quiz your audience. These are so valuable. And sometimes we even have an incentive, like we incentivize our audience, like fill this out. You can be put in a drawing for a $50 Starbucks gift card because then you're going to get people who take it a little bit more seriously and fill it out. Look at what's actually working instead of what everyone else says you should be doing. So again, kind of some of that imposter syndrome, you should be doing this, or somebody on Instagram is telling you should be doing that. That's not necessarily true. You need to look at what's actually working for your business, for you, and go off of that and build on that versus what everybody else is doing, because what works for you might not work for them. Lean into what you love, the platforms, the content, all of those things that feel natural to you and that bring you some joy. Lean into that. We love the podcast. We love our emails. So those are things that we really lean into. And it's very heavily Abby and I who are leading that strategy, doing that storytelling. We do have our team behind the scenes helping with some of the executional things, but we are pouring our expertise into platforms that truly bring us joy.
And typically, like what you lean into and what you love, it's going to show 100%. On the other side.
Yes.
So, like everyone said in our questionnaire that they loved our podcast and our email, likely because we love it too.
Yeah.
So and you can see that.
Yeah. You can see the joy when we show up with these things. Yeah. Exactly. So people, your audience can see that. And then lead out of what you hate. If it's draining you, if it's sucking the life out of you, it's probably not working. And then if you lean out of that and you lean into the things you truly love, your audience is going to see that. Your audience is going to know that. You're going to show up as your true, authentic storytelling self.
Yeah. And I guarantee you there's people out there who are going to be like, girls, all your people are on TikTok. Your people are on Threads. Yeah. Your people are here. You need to be there. And you know what? Maybe one day, but right now I don't like it.
No,
I want to be there.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough going on. Like that's the other thing is you don't have to be everywhere.
No.
And even though like, yeah, we are still on all these platforms. So you heard us mention like Pinterest and Instagram and everything else, but a lot of the content, especially Pinterest, it's all repurposed. It's all repurposed content and it is 100% outsourced.
Yes.
So there's so many things that you can show up on that can be lower priority and still help you market your business.
Yes.
It's about choosing the high priority things that you are going to be more hands-on for and consistent with, and then figuring that out. So marketing at the end of the day, it should feel good. Like it should feel really good to you and your team, or if it's just you, then just you. It should feel good. You should be excited about it.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be a chore. So for the new year, I want, if you take anything away from this episode, do less better. So I want you to go through and see what can be repurposed, what's your long form? Like honestly, pick one long form platform and lean in and then expand eventually. So when we started the podcast, it was just the podcast and the blog post. That's it. We sometimes shared it on Instagram.
Yeah, not always.
But like we weren't consistent at it because we didn't know how we wanted to share it.
We even started our own Instagram handle for our
which
podcast.
I heard is still a good thing to have, but not post to.
So
because it's a smaller audience. More on that later.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like something like we eventually added YouTube. We recorded for a year before we added in YouTube.
And we literally just added YouTube.
Yeah, like slowly add as you go, but start with one thing. And then just truly remember that your best marketing strategy is going to be something that you're actually going to stick to. So you can't stick to everything. You got to pick one.
Can't do it all.
Yeah. All right. Well,
do less better.
We'll leave you with that.
If you liked this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.